What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T-Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So I want to start today by thanking all of you for the massive support you've been showing me and the channel. We've officially crossed a 500 subscriber mark, putting me halfway to my 1,000 goal set for this year. A little fun fact YouTube sent me to celebrate. Apparently, 500 people is what you would need to fill a jumbo jet, which is kind of cool to know. So, well, now you know. Now, I know that it's starting to feel like a Virgin Galactic only channel, but that's because we have actually been getting a decent amount of news around the stock and that we're finally getting closer to commercial flight. After the pullback we experienced last week, the stock is now up 27.91% this week. That is definitely a solid rebound. So in today's video, I'll go over the main drivers behind the move up. And yes, the successful test flight is one of the few reasons behind this. We'll look at analyst price targets. We have some changes there. Then cover the technicals and what this could mean for the stock next move, and close out with what my personal approach will be in light of the latest news. As always, this isn't to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and the thought process behind it. I recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on any pertinent information I'll be sharing. Drop this video an early like if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right. Let's get into it. All right, so in my last video, I called out 3 catalysts to be on the lookout for on Virgin Galactic. Those were the earning call date announcement, the test flight date window announcement, and the RSI being below 50 as an indicator of the potential start of a new consolidation phase. Now, the earning call date was released on Monday, February 13th. The earning call will take place at the end of the month on Tuesday, February 28th, post-market close. This date matters because it plays into what the stock price could do next. More on that later. The second catalyst was the announcement of the test flight window. Virgin Galactic surprised us here by skipping the announcement altogether and took to the sky this week. This is by far the biggest reason behind the nearly 28% gain. Now, February 15th, VMS Eve took to the sky above the Mojave Air and Spaceport in California, and that was at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The test flight lasted a little over 2.5 hours before landing back at the airport. What you're seeing is actual footage from that test flight. The intent of the test flight was to check how well the modifications completed during the extended maintenance phase over the last year performed in flight. Now, even though Virgin Galactic did not release a formal statement specifically disclosing that everything went as planned, they did release a full interview with Kaylee Latimer, their senior flight test director. Now, the most important part of that interview is this, and I quote, "Question, after Eve passes its flight test, when will it head back to Spaceport? And is VSS Unity ready to go for a ride?" Answer, yep, Unity is ready and waiting. After we complete systems checks during initial flight test, Eve will fly what we call a ferry flight to New Mexico. The team is excited to see Eve and Unity reunited again, and we have more testing to do with the mothership and spaceship combined, including more ground testing, glide and powered flight to complete the required validation of the vehicle modifications, end of quote. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is super exciting. And you can see how the stock responded on the chart after the news broke that VMS Eve had taken to the sky. Now, for reason number 3, at the macro level, both the CPI and PPI came in harder than expected. But the main takeaway here is that despite exceeding expectation, it was still an overall decline year over year. This means that neither the bulls or the bears have enough ammunition to justify breaking us out of this new trading range above 4,000 but below 4,300 on the SP 500. What this ultimately means for Virgin Galactic is that in the absence of a clear driving catalyst for the entire market to move lower, the Virgin Galactic stock wasn't held back much, if at all, by the broader market pressure. When looking at the year-to-date performance on Virgin Galactic, they have been hitting some key milestones, right? The stock and investors alike are responding as seen by the 83.05% gain so far. That doesn't go unnoticed. And so this week, we have yet another analyst upgrade. This comes from 5-star analyst Miles Walton with Wolf Research. The rating was adjusted from underperform, which is the equivalent of a sell, to peer perform, which is the equivalent of a hold rating. Now, Miles doesn't have a price target, but it is still significant because the last time that Miles had a hold rating on the stock was September in 2021, and the price at the time was $25.77. He's had a sell rating on the stock for well over a year and a half until now. The main takeaway here is that analysts are starting to wake up to the idea that commercial launch is actually in the card at this point. They're still cautious, which is normal, given Virgin Galactic's history of delay, but sentiment is actually improving. Analyst consensus on the stock puts us at an overall rating of moderate sell. That's 4 sell ratings and 4 hold ratings equally. Price targets are lagging still, which is to be expected. We are now above the high end of the range, which currently sits at $6. I said this before, but I fully expect that these price targets get readjusted upward as Virgin continues to hit their milestones. Now, the first opportunity for price targets to increase and a buy rating to return will be as we come out of the earning call on the 28th. Now, analysts will want to know what cadence can we expect for the remaining test flight leading up to the Italian Air Force flight, and finally, what is the formal start date for commercial operations? If we can keep on this trajectory with no delays to the expected Q2 launch, upgrades will follow, and so will price momentum to the upside. Now, I know all that sounds great, but I'm sure what everybody wants to know is, what does it mean for the price of the stock, right? So let's take a quick look at the technicals. We pushed above the 200-day moving average for the first time at the start of February. We closed out that trading session at $6.34, putting us in overbought territory with an RSI of 73.04. A cool-off period was needed, and we dropped lower over the course of the following week. Now, as a result, RSI dropped to 46.37 with the stock price at $4.98. Now, here's the interesting part. Even though we closed this trading week at almost exactly where we were 2 weeks ago, RSI is still only at 64.99 instead of above 70. Remember that we entered the overbought zone once we crossed over an RSI of 70. If you recall, at the start of this video, I told you that the earning date mattered, and here's why. We have a little over a week leading into earnings with the RSI at the current level and not much in the way from a macro level perspective. Virgin Galactic has room to run. The earning call date provides traders with a target to push the stock upward. I would say that we are now in price discovery mode, and I would expect us to make a higher high. It wouldn't be unreasonable to see us cross $7 ahead of the earning call, and we could potentially push to $8 on positive guidance during the earning before pulling back and confirming the 200-day as support. All right, so now for what this actually means to me. You all know that my average cost basis on Virgin Galactic stands at $8. Even though I expected that we could rebound past the 200-day this last week, I didn't expect that they would go right to the test flight, and as a result, now we're up pretty quickly in a short amount of time. Because I do try to stay disciplined, rather than chase the stock while there's upward momentum, I'll be waiting for the next pullback. And so ultimately, I didn't buy over the course of the week, and I still hold all of my shares. There may be an opportunity for some lower prices. We do have some big retail earning results next week, namely Walmart and Home Depot. Keep in mind that next week is also a shorter trading week. The stock market will be closed on Monday in the US in observance of President's Day. Assuming, this is a long shot, but assuming that Walmart and or Home Depot misses expectations, the market could interpret that as the consumer is weakening, right? Which then plays into the economy's weakening narrative. This only matters because it could add more sell pressure on the broader market and bring Virgin down maybe a bit closer to the 200-day, which if you want to buy more, it's a good thing. How likely is that? We'll just have to wait and see. But at this point, I would prefer to buy closer to the 200-day price, which currently stands at $5.66. Why? Because unless Virgin Galactic delivers some bad news at the upcoming earning call, I do expect that the 200-day is likely to now serve as our new support band. With that said, any shares I buy below $7 will still go towards driving my cost basis down. I was targeting having my final cost basis somewhere in the $5 to $7 range ahead of commercial flight, but frankly, it's looking more and more like I'll have to settle for simply getting as close as I can to $7. Realistically, that would not be a bad place to be at all. The last thing I'll say is this. Things get really interesting once I get above my cost basis. Every single dollar increase on the stock price is proportionally equal to the number of shares I'll hold at that point. And that is exciting to think about given how much upward potential I believe this stock has. But on that note, that is it for me today. I appreciate you spending some time with me. If you found value in my content, click the like button and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe. It's free. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video. Till then, you can keep up with me here on Twitter for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.